Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show where we review this night's episode of SmackDown on BroDown. I'm your host, Mac Davis, and of course, the guy right to the side of me here is none other than the most hated man in professional wrestling and a former WCW heavyweight champion, Mr. Vince Russo. Hey, Vince.
What is up, Mad Mac? Hey, Mad Mac, you know who that is on my arm right there, right?
I can't really see it from. It looks like somebody from Kiss, maybe. I can't tell.
Oh my God, Mac.
Yeah, let me enlarge my screen so I can see this better. Let's see who you got on your arm. I don't know who that is.
Oh, Mac.
Tell me who that is.
Janice, baby, Janice.
That's Joplin?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Some people actually think it's Howard Stern, though, bro.
Well, you know, when I first saw it, I kind of thought the same thing. I'm like, but why would he have Howard Stern on his arm?
That's Jan. You know why I love Janice, Mac? I'll tell you why I love Janice.
What's that?
She sang every song like it was the last song she was ever going to sing, man.
Yep.
She put 100% heart and soul into every song she sang. That's what I love about Janice.
Let me bring up a few things before we get started here. First of all, later tonight, we're going to talk about the $1 Million Challenge. Again, that's the $1 Million Challenge. We'll talk about that later tonight as we go through the show. But first, I do want to mention that you're watching us live in most cases on Wrestle Binge, which is someplace you usually don't catch us. And we're here live just to celebrate the Rumble weekend. And you can also join us on Patreon and the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube main channel each and every week. All you have to do is sign up and become a member. It's that easy. So make sure you join us every week after SmackDown right here for BroDown.
Now, can I get in on this $1 Million Challenge? Can we get in on this, Mac?
Yes.
All right, nice.
Yeah, the $1 Million Challenge. Make sure you hang around because you're going to want to know more about this $1 Million Challenge.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about SmackDown tonight. Oh, my God. Look here, I'm going to start off. Before we even get going, let me throw just a couple of things up here. We've already got comments coming in. I want to show you what the gist of these comments have been. If I can go up to here. What's going on here? All right, go ahead and give me this. There we go. All right, let's see. First one. King of Hugo Mundo. Nothing but matches we've seen over and over. 2 feuds and matches that nobody cares about. Michael Cole and McAfee making fools of themselves. Now, I understand why Vince McMahon would scream in his ear.
That's pretty funny, King. Yeah, listen, Mac, Michael Cole crowd surfing, a little much. Little much, Mac. Little much for me, you know?
Hey, look, Awesome Sauce even feels sorry for you. Says, poor Russo reviewing Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
And let's see. We got Awesome Sauce. I didn't even watch this trash. And Judge Dredd, I saw this just a moment ago. SmackDown was a shit show. Expected better for our go home show. It was just as horrible as Raw. This, I agree.
Well, Mac, you know what that show desperately needed? Desperately needed. And like, as we're going into the main event, I'm saying, man, this show desperately needs this right now. We desperately needed like an LA Knight turn on Damian Priest.
Yes.
They needed something at the end of that show. Man, guys, I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but, everybody watching the show and everybody making the comments, Mac, it's just so damn predictable. They made Tama Tonga. They've made Tama Tonga a jobber. He's the jobber of the group.
Yes.
And after he does the job, Fatu comes in and gets the heat. I mean, it's every single show. We know now that Solo's going to come back. Solo's going to be the baby face, and Fatu is going to be the heel. That's why I was saying, man, at the end of this match, at the main event, I was begging for some kind of a swerve, some kind of a turn. Give me something. I mean, every single thing they do, they're going to do, Mac.
Yes. And we got to the end of the show. I thought, and I agree with the comment just a moment ago, I thought the show for a go-home show tonight was pretty weak, and it didn't really drive you to watch the pay-per-view. What was on tonight's show? that made you want to go watch the pay-per-view?
Been saying this a lot with go home shows. And again, Mac, I'm just gonna say it. Everything goes back to there is way too much content, man. And
Yep.
they are trying to fill way, way, way too many hours of television every week. So they're writing the simplest shows and the simplest formulas that they can.
I thought it was a pitiful show tonight. And I went into tonight trying to be positive. I wanted to be positive about the show tonight, and I really can't. I just can't, because I know we got a pay-per-view tomorrow, and that was a very weak go-home show. See, G-Man in New Jersey, a $5 donation. Thank you very much. He says, they are using the same ideas over and over 2 times tonight, baby. Face wins, followed by attack from a heel.
Yeah. That's the thing, man. These people, G-Man, everybody in the chat, everybody watching this show, you've watched this show long enough, you know what they're going to do. Mac, when I first started writing for Vince, I swear our very, very first meeting, I sat down and I referred to it. I said, Vince, there's a wrestling rule book. Wrestling always does the same thing all the time. I said, we need to take that wrestling rule book handbook, throw it out the window. He says, what do you mean, Vince? I said, Vince, if they think you're going to go right because you've gone right 99% of the time, we go left. Yep. We go left. We keep going left. And I said, Vince, you go left enough. Now you got must-see TV, because they don't know what you're going to do. Yep. But they're in such a rut here, and you're seeing it from a lot of people in this chat, Mac, you know what they're going to do every single time.
Look here, I did see where Wilfredo Castillo says SmackDown was actually a very good show tonight. He enjoyed it, and he agrees, though, that Monday Night Raw was trash.
I would love to hear, Wilfredo, I would love to hear what you liked about Raw tonight. I'll tell you, listen, I actually was going to put something over in tonight's show, Mac, and I don't put anything over.
Uh-oh.
I like the Priest Fatu face-to-face. Because these are 2 guys that are legit. Yes. These are wrestlers. I believe both of these guys could F you up. So I like that they brought these 2 guys together. That I liked. But again, the ending, I mean, you did not have to watch that main event to know what the ending was going to be.
No, not at all. G-Man in New Jersey also writing, it ass drawn out tonight. It was drawn out. That's what he's trying to say. Just not enough good TV for 3 hours.
Yes.
I think we've been saying that for weeks now, that they've been stretching a 1-hour show to 3 hours.
I was talking about this, Mac, this week. Mac, I actually wrote 9 3-hour nitros. And Mac, me and Ed did not have a problem. It was 3 hours of compelling television. It never got boring. But Mac, we had the roster.
Yes.
With that WCW roster, it was a piece of cake writing 3 hours. Look at who they've got on this show. The problem is you don't care about anybody. That is the problem. So they're trying to write a 3-hour show with people that they haven't gotten over, have no character, have no storyline, and unfortunately, nobody cares.
Look here, we got a lot more people joining into the room. If you're joining us, we thank you for that. Please keep in mind, you can leave comments or questions right up on the comment section. We'll get to them as fast as we can. I do want to talk about the opening, though. We did get Michael Cole and Pat McAfee starting the show, which I thought was kind of unusual. And it started the show, and again, it didn't have that punch that I was looking for. It was more about Pat McAfee in Indianapolis. The majority of people who watched the program couldn't give 2 shits about where this is.
Mac, I listen, bro. I'm Mac. I'll be the first to admit I'm a baseball guy. Second, I'll follow my Denver Nuggets. Mac, I had no idea who Tyrese Halliburton was.
I didn't either.
Nor did I care. But no, I could care I could care less about a basketball player in freaking Indiana. If you're bringing on a LeBron James or a Michael Jordan or a Kobe Bryant, if you're bringing on that's different. I don't know who Tyrese Halliburton is.
No,
Was he the one who came up with that case? The Halliburton?
When I saw that, I kept thinking, is he a member of the family of the Halliburton family? I didn't have a clue. But I'm like you. The majority of people who are watching, and I understand wanting to use stars to help promote your brand. But if I don't know who they are,
stars being the key, but stars being the key word, Mac.
Yes,
stars,
yeah.
stars being the key word, Mac.
Well, they don't have many stars on the program at all, so I guess they have to bring them in from outside. Let's talk about that Winged Eagle Championship. Did you notice that Kevin took it back tonight?
Yes, I did.
He stole it again. Nobody stopped him. And now tomorrow night, is he going to have it back up on the thing up above the ring?
I'm just, Mac, I never wrote an in-ring that did not end with action. Yep. And we have seen so many in-rings leading up to this, and all it is I'm winning the Royal Rumble, and I'm going to be every single one of them. This, everybody loves Punk. Okay, bro, and I'll say it again. Punk doesn't write the show. But this first segment was like 15 minutes. What did we get out of it, Mac? Okay, yeah, Punk, obviously you're going to join, you're going to be in the Royal Rumble, and you're going to say you're going to win. Obviously. You don't need to tell us that. We know that. So if you take that out of the equation, what did we get out of this first 15-minute promo?
Absolutely nothing. In fact, I thought it was kind of strange that Punk even came out. It's like, we just all of a sudden decided to throw Punk in the middle of this whole thing because it wasn't mentioned before now.
And for what? And you totally wasted them. When you got a guy like that is one of your, one of the few stars, you got to use him like a star. The dude came out and said, I'm going to win the Royal Rumble and then I'm going to win the and you lost to Logan Paul. Okay.
Now, being that it's Rumble weekend here at Sportskeeda, tomorrow you have a show. I believe you'll be doing a post-Rumble show.
Yes.
So let me ask you, just as going into the matches, it's Cody versus KO in a ladder match at Royal Rumble. Who do you like to win?
Bro, they badly need to do something out of the norm. I would let Kevin Owens upset Cody Rhodes, and they can do it without hurting Cody Rhodes because it's a ladder match.
Yes.
So Owens doesn't have to pin him. And that's why I think it's a ladder match, to be honest with you. So they could put Owens over, and it's not going to hurt Cody. They need to shake something up, Mac. They need to shake it up.
Very much so. Detroit Morales says, I could have taken a big shit in the middle of the ring in front of everybody, and it would have been a better show than the monstrosity we got today. Hey, look, I'm not afraid to put up any messages that are in here. Let's see. We also have, make sure I get everybody in. No, we already got that one. Okay. Let's talk about Big Jim. He did come out again this week. I'm convinced that Jimmy Uso is just going to be called Big Jim from now on. I don't understand the moniker. I really don't.
Yeah, and not only that, but my God, they're jobbing Carmelo Hayes out now.
Yes.
I mean, he's
been jobbing for weeks, though, Vince.
Yeah, I mean, and here's another question, man. Where is the Wyatt 6, bro? Seriously, guys, come on.
Part of me thinks I might have seen something of the Wyatt 6 during the program tonight. I'll bring that up in a minute.
Okay, bring that up because I missed it.
Let's see. What else do we have? Anything about Carmelo Hayes you want to talk about other than what we just did?
Nah, just bro, they've got a bad habit of doing this, Coach.
Now, you did that last week,
and I looked down. I wasn't looking at you. That's why. Mac, they got a very bad habit of doing this, and it's really ass backwards. And Mac, who was a worker in the business, knows exactly what I'm talking about. When you have somebody bust on the scene, okay, you get them over. They win. That's how you get them over. I can remember, Mac, like it was yesterday. Jake Roberts just arrived on the scene, Saturday night's main event, and he stretched it out, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. And then Jake never lost. That's how you get people over when you bring them on the scene. They win. The WWE does the complete opposite. They bring somebody new from NXT. They beat them. They beat them. They beat them. They beat them. And here's why they're doing it, Mac. There's a reason. I like to educate the audience. Number one, they're testing them. Mac, you know what the old test in wrestling is. Are they going to lose with a smile on their face, or are they going to bellyache and have boo-boo face? So we're testing them to see if they're going to fall in line, because WWE is all about falling in line. And number two, Mac, in their minds, they think, okay, we'll beat them, and then we'll get them over later. No, bro, because we don't forget about all those losses.
Correct.
We're not going to forget about how many times you beat Carmelo Hayes, where all of a sudden he's believable. Yep. I mean, Matt, come on, man. You've done this. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You don't get people over by beating them out of the gate.
No, I mean, let's look back in time and remember John Cena when he first appeared in WWE. He went up to Kurt Angle and smacked the spit right out of his mouth. And he was a huge star from that point forward. There is a proper way to introduce new talent, and bringing them in and making them look like jobbers is not the way to do it.
No, man. And they've gone through so many people that way, man. And then why isn't anybody over? Well, look at the way you're booking them, man.
Tomorrow night, one of the things we talked about last week is that the Royal Rumble seems to have lost the surprise entrances that so many fans love to see. If you had a few choices of surprise entrants into the Royal Rumble, who would you like to see pop in?
Besides you?
Yeah, besides me, yeah.
Okay. If I could pick one, let's see, maybe you and I both pick one.
Okay.
If I had to pick one, man, you go first. You got somebody off the top of your head?
I do. I think it's somebody that has a good opportunity to come in there because of all the work we've seen them do over the last 6 months, and that's JBL. He's been handing out a lot of clotheslines and a lot of federations across the country. I think that we could see him pop in, maybe deliver a clothesline to somebody over the top rope, and then,
Well, I'm going to talk about, Mac, personal reasons, not really television reasons. I'm going to talk about personal reasons.
All right.
The one guy I'd love to see in that Royal Rumble is Matt Cardona.
I agree. I would love to see that.
Personally, I would love to see him in the Royal Rumble.
I think he's earned his spot. I think that he's earned himself a contract, really. I think that for him not to have a full-time, and it may be his choice. Maybe he's like, I don't want to do it with any company. I'd rather stay on my own, which I understand. Yeah. But if he does want to work for WWE, I don't know why they haven't offered something to him. And so hopefully they have. I mean, they got his wife working for him, so.
I got to tell you, though, Mac, I think it would be very, very, very tough for him because he was in that system. So he knows what that system's like. Now he went out on his own and was very successful. So now it's his rules. It's his decisions. He gets involved in the booking. Again, I bet you he's in a tough spot because he's got absolute freedom right now on the indie circuit, and he's making good money.
Yes.
He knows if he goes back to the system there, he's not going to have the same say. So, but on the other side of the coin, his wife is there. Yep. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So there's pluses and minuses, because he knows what it's like working there. And this is one of the guys that without the WWE has achieved great, great success.
G-Man in New Jersey, a $2 donation says, no Roman Reigns, no John Cena on the go-home shows. I agree with that as well. There should have been some taste of one of the big stars that's going to be in Royal Rumble tomorrow appearing on SmackDown. Shouldn't there have been?
Well, I mean, we've already crossed off a month on Cena's return, right? We're through January. Yep. We haven't seen him do anything the month of January. I'm really starting to wonder, how often are they going to use him? I mean, there's only 12 months in the calendar. One's gone already.
Let's talk about backstage. We get Byron Saxton with the women's U.S. Championship champion. Chelsea Green with the Secret Service agent of Piper Niven. Your thoughts on the girls? One thing I will say: God bless the USA. Chelsea Green. I love her outfits. They're always something to see. And I kind of like, as strange as it seems, this Secret Service ballet stuff that Piper Niven's pulling off is interesting. I don't know why, but it is.
It's two things here. I guarantee you that was their idea. I guarantee you they came up with that. I guarantee you. I want to point this out to people too, because I was noticing this in the last match. A lot of people, I like to, Mac, I really like to educate people that, you know, when I'm doing a show, because everybody talks about the same BS that they all know. Okay. Guys, you got to understand something. The wrestlers, the talent pay for their ring gear. It is not given to them. The company does not give them money for it. They have to pay for their own ring gear. And I say this all the time, Mac. You want to be a star? It starts with dressing like a star. When you look at Chelsea Green, she is spending a lot of money on her appearance. And guys, I am not a big Seth Rollins fan, but I always put him over for that. Seth puts a lot of money into his ring gear. So I want you guys to understand they're paying for that, and it makes a difference. And Mac, here's why it makes a difference. I'm watching the last match, and I'm like, Tama Tonga, it's bad enough they're jobbing you out every week. You can't just go out there in black tights. Give me something, man. You know, snazz up a little. Give me some color. Give me something. So I just want you guys to know Chelsea's spending that money to invest in herself. That's why I get over that. That's why I get hot at people like Owens and people like Sami Zayn. You look like freaking slobs. You don't look like stars. Chelsea Green is a star, and she's investing in her brand, Mac.
I'll tell you that I made a note later in the evening because I saw someone who I thought fit the bill, what you're trying to say. Chelsea Green with her outfit versus Candice LeRae and what she wore to the ring tonight. When I saw Candice LeRae coming down to the ring, I honestly thought she looked like an indie talent that just happened to get onto the rampway and come down to the ring.
They all do. They all do. If they were in the indies, they still look like indies. You again, man, you want to be a star, you got to look like a star. Here's what I mean, guys. Here's what I mean looking like a star. If I got the remote control in my hand, Mac, and I'm switching channels, and all of a sudden I see something, what's going to make me stop? Somebody who looks like a star, somebody with a, larger than life, outfit with color, that's going to make me stop. Not somebody dressing like they just walked off the street. That's a regular person, Mac. That's not a star.
No, and in the old days, Vince loved the big guys because if they went through the airport, people recognized these big guys. Well, we don't have so many of those big guys anymore. So if you want to stand out when you come off of an airplane or you're in public, you need to look like somebody that you should be paying attention to. And that includes when you're walking to the ring or doing a promo. You should always look the part of what you need to be playing.
Look like you belong.
Let's look at some of the comments here. Beast Slayer, imagine going from 5.9 million to 3 million viewers just in 3 weeks. Next one we have is King of Hugo Mundo. Let's just call it how it is. Triple H is over his head. You think that's true, Vince?
Well, Mac, I'm watching this dog and pony show yesterday with Taker and Sean and Stephanie. I called it a circle jerk. And I'm like, I said what that viewer just said. I said, you guys are having this big celebration. Triple H is crying. You just cut your audience in Netflix in half in 3 weeks.
Yes.
You know, what do they call it, Mac? They call it the misdirection. The old Mr. Hey, guys, look over here so you don't see what's happening here. My God, man, I can't imagine if Vince McMahon had lost half his audience in 3 weeks, Mac, there would have been an emergency meeting every day of the week. We would not have been putting people in the Hall of Fame.
I have seen so many instances lately where I always wonder, would this have happened if Vince McMahon were there? And I know it wouldn't have. I know some of the laziness I've seen in the ring, some of the things that I've seen that have happened production-wise on TV. I never saw that when Vince
Yeah.
McMahon ran the company, because I would
Yeah.
imagine he made sure you didn't see it twice. If he saw a problem, it was fixed and you never saw it again. That was
That's
it.
right. That's right.
Let's see what else we got here. We have we got a ton of comments coming in. If Charlotte Flair, first of all, enthusiastic rail line streamer, $5 donation. Hey, Mac, tell Teddy I said holla at me, player. I will. I'll do that. Teddy's in Indianapolis right now for our Royal Rumble. Raymond Reigns, Wyatt 6 started off by killing half the roster. They're ending it, jobbing to all the roster.
It's just so refreshing, Matt, because I'm so tired of being called bitter because I state the obvious. Every one of these comments, everybody's stating the obvious. Yes, okay. I thank you that Mac and I are not the only people seeing this stuff. Thank you.
And we won't catch as much hell either. Lucas Allison, they can send Wyatt 6 to NXT, or better yet, get rid of him. WWE has screwed the pooch on their return.
Matt, can I tell you what happened with the Wyatt 6? I'll tell you exactly what happened. Because first of all, when they got into this, okay, I said to myself, if you couldn't get Bray Wyatt over, you ain't getting his brother over. Let's be honest. Because quite frankly, if you can't get Bray Wyatt over, you can't get anybody over, quite frankly. So Mac, I'm telling you, this is what happened. Bo Dallas really wanted to do this as a tribute to his brother. It meant a lot to him. They couldn't say no. And I got to tell you, those early vignettes, Bo blew it out of the water, man. He was incredible in those early vignettes. Incredible. Yes. But it's almost like, Mac, we have to do this under the circumstances, but it's like they were never, ever behind this to begin with, man.
I'm trying to remember where it was, because I want to bring it up because we're doing a lot of comments tonight too. So I want to make sure I throw this in there. But Bray Wyatt, I believe part of that Wyatt 6 may have been in the background before the end of the show. Let me just look at my notes real quick. It was when Damian and Santos Escobar were backstage in a promo. If you looked behind him in the background, there was a mysterious figure lurking back there, and I think that may have been part of the Wyatt 6.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Something
Very
just
nice. Kind of keep in
Very
mind.
nice.
Let's see. Damon Schust says, send the Wyatts to TNA and have them feud with the system.
Not a bad idea. Send them under somebody else's creative, and let's see what we could do with them. Not a bad idea, Damon.
All right. And also there was one in here. I wanted why was Fatu, here we go. Justin Michaels, why was Fatu made to look like a fool all throughout the show just to lose the match and get a little bit of a comeback in the last 10 seconds?
Well, he didn't lose the match, though. Tama Tonga lost the match because they were trying to show you that Fatu is King Kong. You could hurt him, you could fly planes into him, you could shoot him, but you ain't gonna kill him. That's what they're trying to do with Fatu.
Unrealistic Cliff Burton says, so much for the Cena farewell tour. I'm not sure. I guess because we haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, tomorrow's February, bro.
So January. You'll see him at Royal Rumble, so I'm sure you'll be telling everybody about it tomorrow because, like I said, you do have a post-Royal Rumble show that you'll be doing with Chris Featherstone. That's just one of several shows that are taking place this weekend for Rumble Weekend for Sportskeeda, including BroDown, which you can get us every single week. Just go to Patreon, sign up and become a member there, or at the Russo. I'm sorry, the Sportskeeda main wrestling page and become a member there.
Is Teddy at the Royal Rumble for Sportskeeda?
No, he's there for WWE. He has a Legends contract.
Why doesn't Sportskeeda send me and get me into these scrums where I could ask some questions? What's everybody afraid of, Max? Send me and you. Get us to these scrums. We'll sit right there in the first row.
They won't let me back in AEW because I think I told you last week I asked a legitimate question during one of those press scrums and they didn't care for that very much.
Yeah, you're not going back. You're not going back there. You're done. Put a fork in you, Mac.
Ryan Vasquez, Russo kind of knows what he's talking about. Just kind of. That's correct. Just kind of. But, oh, by the way, the $1 million challenge, we're going to talk about that in just a little while. Don't forget that before we're out of here, the $1 million challenge. Let's talk about Byron with Naomi and Bianca Belair, the women's tag team champions. They were backstage. And I got to tell you, I went to the grocery store, picked up a carton of milk. Guess who was on the back? Jade Cargill, right on the back of that thing.
Very nice, man.
No idea where the hell she is. Okay, Royal Rumble match for the women. Who do you think should go over and challenge?
I would hate them to beat Charlotte if this is going to be a first match back.
I
mean, and their route can be somebody can eliminate her and she can get in a feud with them. But come on, man, you got to get her over.
Yeah. We've talked about Jacob Fatu in the match there, so we'll just kind of skip past that. But backstage, we get the Phantasmos and the Motor City Machine Guns. And again, I don't buy into the Phantasmos. I don't understand who they are or what their purpose is there. I like the Motor City Machine Guns. I like what they're trying to do, to rebuild them because they brought them in the wrong way in the beginning. And which kind of goes back, earlier you said we should bring people in and make them go over and really shine them up, which is what we did with the Motor City Machine Guns when they first came in, but it didn't work in their case. I think they were pushed way too hard. So what is the balance? How do you find the balance where you don't push too hard and not enough?
Well, again, Mac, it goes back to the vignettes. Remember the vignettes were police car? And I'm like, what is that doing for them? The vignette should have been about how these guys have been wrestling for 20 years, whatever it was, never got a shot in the WWE. That should have been the vignette. We kept seeing these cop cars, and I'm like, how is this getting these guys over?
Have no idea because I didn't know who they were. And that's the problem. A lot of people don't know who the Motor City Machine Guns are, even though they've been around forever. For people who watch WWE and that's all they ever watch, the Motor City Machine Guns were somebody they've never heard of before.
Mac, here's the problem. We can take, okay, let's look at the 8 guys in this match. Okay.
All right.
The Beverly Brothers. What are their names? Who are they?
I think you're talking about Disco Inferno's sons.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty deadly.
Freaking deadly.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Guys, here's a simple test. Simple freaking test. This is why nobody cares about any of these 8 guys. I can't even think of 2 of them. I know we had the Beverly Brothers, DUI, the Guns, and who was the other team?
Oh, Lord. Let's see. We had the gun.
Look at this. This show ended 30 minutes ago, Mac.
Yeah. I can't keep up with all these guys.
Who was the other babyface team? The Phantasmo.
Yeah, the Fantastics. Okay. Yeah.
Guys, here's an easy test if you're watching this show. Because if in order to care about somebody, there's got to be a connection.
Yes.
You got to have a connection with these performers to care about them. If there's no connection, they're just wrestlers on the card. Nobody cares. Guys, out of those 8 guys, the Beverly Brothers, Sabin, Shelley, Phantasmo, and DUI. Give me one character trait for each one of those guys. Give me one character trait. Give me one, guys. That's why nobody's over. Yes. We don't know these guys. All we know about them they are wrestlers. What do you guys know about Chris Sabin? What do you know about Alex Shelley? What do you know about the Beverly Brothers? Nothing. That's why there's no connection. They've got to make us care about these people, Mac. In that case, they're 0 for 8.
I mean, let's look back in the Attitude Era. Everybody on the roster was over, and everybody had a background story. You knew everything about them. Today, we don't get that because today's wrestling is more about the watch what we can do instead of the story.
Yes. Thank you, Mac. Thank you.
A-Graphics 22 with a $5 donation. Russo, you were right when you said wrestling has no grit nowadays. Everything feels too corporate and contrived. I agree with that. I like grit in my wrestling. I've said that many times on many programs. That's the exact word I use, grit. I like grit in my wrestling. And that's why I always enjoyed, and people who were up north will hate me for saying this, but being from the South, the Southern wrestling style when I grew up was very gritty, and it still has that grit when you go to the independent shows.
Oh my God.
That's why I like to see more of that in today's
Man,
wrestling.
I swear you're going to appreciate this, Mac. Mac, I grew up in New York, WWWF.
Yes.
Okay. But Mac, when I was about 15, I was about probably 14 or 15, somewhere. No, I was probably about 15, 16. I went to Florida and I went to a show.
Oh, wow.
Mac, I saw Dusty and King Curtis.
Oh,
Mac, I was 16 years old. The brutality in that, I had never, ever seen anything. So I just turned 64, Mac. So 50 years. We just forgot teams in a show from 20 minutes ago because it was, like you said, gritty.
Well, one of the things that I'd like to see more of, and I don't think that we'll see it, unfortunately, even though we're on Netflix for Monday Night Raw, I expected to see an edgier product. I really did. And I think a lot of people did. That's why those numbers have dropped off for Monday Night Raw, because people expected to see a different show. And instead, we're getting the same thing we got when it was on Fox.
And Mac, that's what I was saying when everybody was saying that. I'm like, guys, the same people are writing the show. Yep. Why do you think all of a sudden it's going to be different? It's the same people writing. You're going to get the same exact show.
You had mentioned Triple H a while ago being entered into the WWE Hall of Fame. He got his announcement the other day. Is there somebody that you'd like to see go into the Hall of Fame that has not been there?
Steve Lombardi. It's a joke. It's a joke that Steve Lombardi is not in the WWE Hall of Fame. It's a freaking joke. It's a joke.
Explain who Steve Lombardi is to people who don't know all the different.
Steve Lombardi has been there, was there since the WWF. He started as the Brooklyn Brawler. Then he did Knuckleball Schwartz. Then he did Kim Chi. There was another one in there. But he, my God, every star got over because of Steve Lombardi. Steve Lombardi's job was to get in there. I think Rock's first match was against Steve Lombardi. So he was one of these great, curtain jerkers, jobbers, call them what you want, but he got everybody over. He was so good at what he did. Then, Mac, when his career was over, he spent the next 20 years, behind the camera, helping at the office. I mean, this guy put 40, 50 years in the WWE. And if you're getting in the WWE based on a one-loss record, it's more laughable than it already is.
Yep.
What about you, man? What about you?
I'd like to see, and this is something that it's not a wrestler, but it's somebody who I believe belongs in the Hall of Fame, maybe in a special hall. And it's not just because he's a friend of mine, but because I believe this to be true. Bill Apter. There is no reason why Bill Apter is not in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. 1,000%.
I mean, tell me anybody else back in that time period. There was no internet. All we had were magazines and, word of mouth, whatever it was. But the guy that was in the forefront of the magazines all those years, the one that the wrestlers trusted to help with their careers, get them over, was Bill Apter. Nobody else.
And I got to tell you, Mac, seeing Triple H going again, like I'm a proponent, Mac, of put people in there that it's going to mean something to. You know what I mean? This would make Bill Apter's life. This would make Steve Lombardi's life. I mean, my gosh, give the honor to somebody that it would really, really, really mean something to.
And I know for a fact how much it would mean to Bill Apter. Even though that he wouldn't admit that, I know for a fact it's the one thing that Bill Apter would love to have.
No doubt. Yeah.
Let's see. Otis Linkman, $4.99 donation. Please explain why Triple H does the same thing over and over. That can't be long-term storytelling.
I'll explain it real easy, Otis. It's real simple. He's not a writer. He's a wrestler. He's not a writer. There is an art to writing a television show, especially a 3-hour show. He is not a writer. He has no background in writing. He has no credentials in writing. He doesn't know how to format a show. He's a wrestler. That's why I always tell people, Mac, there's a huge difference between wrestlers and bookers. And let me tell you what they are.
Yes.
Between writers and bookers. A writer starts with a story. So what two characters could tell a great story, and then you start with the story and the match develops. A booker, who is usually a former wrestler, will first look at the match. Who's going to have a great match? Then they'll take those two people and try to make a story out of it. That's the difference between a writer and a booker. Triple H is a booker.
Should you not start the story with the end of the story? Isn't that where it should begin in the first place, knowing what the ending of that story is going to be?
Absolutely. Yes.
There are too many times now in wrestling where I feel like they don't have an idea of what the end story is going to be, and they just keep writing, hoping they'll find themselves an end.
Wyatt 6, Jade Cargill. Absolutely. Across the board, they have no idea where they're going with any of this stuff.
All right, look, we're about to run out of time pretty soon here, so let me kind of whip through some of this. We did get a match with Liv Morgan and Naomi. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, who went over there? Who?
Raquel. Well, actually, Naomi went over, but Raquel
and then the heels got their heat back. Man,
yeah. All right, the $1 million challenge, by the way, we will be talking about that in just a few moments here. Miz and Andrade. Andrade won the match. Your thoughts?
Give me a character trait of Andrade. Give me one. Aside from he's married to Charlotte Flair, which nobody knows anyway if you're watching the show. Give me one character trait of Andrade. Why am I supposed to care about Andrade?
He's had that problem for a long time, not just in WWE, because when he was in AEW, he had the same issue. You just didn't really know who he was or what he was.
That's the writer's job to find out.
Is it not the talent's part too, though, to help push that that character out? Like if he's in AEW, I can't imagine too many people were telling him what to do.
The writer's job, Mac, is you sit down with the talent and you ask questions and you interview and you find out what's really, really inside to make him unique. And that's what you pull out and that's what you magnify. They've never done this for that guy.
No. Damien and Santos Escobar were backstage in a promo. Plus, we get a surprise visit from R-Truth. And then LA Knight, and in the background was where that mysterious figure was hiding. So if you want to go back and watch that, if you're watching us right now and you didn't see it, go back and let me know what it was that you saw, because there was somebody back there. I just couldn't see it large enough to tell you who it was. Let's see. We did get another backstage promo with Tiffany Stratton and Selena Vega. I got to tell you, Tiffany Stratton's mic work, not so good.
Well, when you compare it to the other women, though.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know,
we did get Michael Cole and Pat McAfee welcome the WWE Women's Champion Tiffany for Tiffy time, but she gets interrupted by Candice LeRae. And again, the outfit she came out in and the wig she had on, everything looked cheap. It just didn't say.
But like, come on, Mac. I mean, you know, the fact that she's an empowering 4'11" Mac, doesn't that make up for it, man? Doesn't when Candice LeRae comes out, don't you get the impression that she could kill people?
Well, you know, that's the thing. I don't understand in a lot of cases where you got somebody that small. Now, if she's going to face somebody, she should be facing Zelina Vega, because they're about the same size. They're two tiny women. But when you get somebody that small and that's frail looking, they don't look like a threat. So I don't see why there's a match if there's no threat.
When you get somebody that small, you better be a hell of a performer. Alexa Bliss was a good performer. She could be an actress, Alexa Bliss. She is a good performer. Francis LaRue is not a good performer. So what I'll tell you what she's doing. You got these clicks. There's a bunch of NXT clicks. I mean, nothing. Listen, Mac, I'm sure she's the nicest girl in the world. I don't know her. When I look at her on TV, this is the first question that comes to my mind every week. Who the heck is she going to beat? Who's she going to beat Nia Jax?
No. And see, that's the same problem I have. Like, even over in AEW, you have Oh, now I'm gonna forget his name now. Michael Boom. Who am I thinking of?
Oh, the Boom guy, the Costco guy?
No, there's another Boom.
Ray Boom Boom Mancini?
I can't remember his damn name now. That's just off.
I can't help you, man, because I don't watch
I'm sorry.
AEW.
Anyhow, he's a skinny little runt. He don't look right. All right. The main event, Tama Tonga, Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, Damian Priest. Anything you want to
No, listen, I was okay with this matchup, but like I said, man, like it's just so obvious. Tonga's the jobber of the group, and Fatu, get him out of there. Tonga does the job, bring him back to get his heat.
Benjamin Kimbrell, where was Solo tonight?
Solo hasn't dropped
that completely.
Yeah, he has not been on for weeks.
Let's see what else we got here. In the headset VR. Yeah, bro, my cable up to 170 for cable and net. I'm going to turn off my cable. Only thing I watch is WWE when it's on, but it's been so meh lately. I agree.
I don't think in the headset's going to be the only one.
No. Ryan Vasquez also saying Punk is tiring company sellout, man. He's a great promo, but tired of him winning. Drew should have beat him. Okay. I couldn't quite make out everything you were trying to say there. I do want to remind you, if you enjoy BroDown, you enjoy this live free episode that you're getting right now on Wrestle Binge, you can join us on the main Sportskeeda Wrestling page on YouTube, as well as Patreon. Just become a member and you'll catch our show every single week right after SmackDown.
Is Adam Cole who you were thinking about?
Adam Cole, thank God.
Okay.
Yes, Adam Cole.
Said, let's give King of Huco Mundo. Thank you very much. And Buff Dad, thank you very much for giving Mac the assist.
Thank you very yes. The person in the background was Shinsuke Nakamura. Okay, thank you, Manny. I couldn't tell who that was.
Thank you, Manny. Thank you,
Manny. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, because I knew there was somebody bad there. I just couldn't make them out. Let's see if there's anything else we can get to. If there's more comments,
go up. I think you might have went over one.
Let's see. We got one. Who is this guy, Mac Davis? Is he an old wrestler? I'm old. Yes.
Wait. Let me handle this. How dare you be 40, an old wrestler? This man's a legend. This man is a legend, Mac Davis. What old wrestler, Mac? This man is Mac, tell him you're a legend.
I can't say that. I'm one of those guys. I just can't do that. I'm a local legend in my own mind.
Hey, let me tell you something, Mac. I say this all the time on this show. Mac sent me some of his promos, man, and Mac was spot on. I love Mac's promos, man.
I appreciate that. That's one of the things I enjoyed. I always said that when I was in wrestling, I was more of the entertainer than I was the wrestler. I was always one of those. Man. Yeah, it takes a little bit of everything.
The entertainers make money. The wrestlers don't, man.
Yep. All right, we'll see Beast Slayer. The amount of promotion, the amount of star power, and the money they spend on celebs to appear on Raw. 3 million globally is an abysmal number. I feel like Netflix will opt out after 5 years. What do you think, Vince?
Beast Slayer, I told everybody before they started at Netflix, there is a track record here. All you have to do is go look at what happened with Fox. Same exact. You're going to have the same exact thing happen with Netflix. But here's the punchline, Mac. There are going to be 15 other idiots lined up willing to pay them another $10 billion. I mean, that's the bottom line. And then all of a sudden they're in bed with them. And wait a minute, we went from 6 million to 3 million in 3 weeks. How did that happen? It happened because you got worked by the best workers in the business. That's how it happened.
All right, let's talk about the $1 Million Challenge. Well, I'll tell you what, we get to Freebird was up there. I was going to read that real quick, but if it's not going to be up there, I'll go ahead and talk about Okay, here we go. Freebird, the issue is Triple H is trying to do AEW shows in WWE, and it's coming out to be far worse than the garbage we have ever gotten from WWE.
Freebird, it's not that he's trying to do AEW shows. He's putting on a show that he likes. Triple H is putting out a show that he likes, and it doesn't matter what he likes. What do the masses like? That's what matters.
On Raw, JD McDonald jumped, and in the back, they were hugging him and proud that he made it through the match instead of the doctors ending the match. That was a major problem with me. I did see that, and I can't believe that there wasn't a protocol ringside that was done to protect him. That really surprised me when it came to that show. I'm realizing I got two headphones on here, one for the TV and one for us. But yeah, that was surprising to me as well. All right, the $1 million challenge. You ready, Vince?
Yes. Give it to me.
So, you would not accept a job if you were offered $1 million
in wrestling.
Wrestling
for a major wrestling company.
For a major wrestling company, $1 million.
You're gonna give me a job? Are you starting a promotion? I'll work for you, Mac. I'll work for you for $50. I'll work for you, Mac.
Well, you got in an argument with Disco just recently. And there was you were kind of upset with him because you couldn't believe that he didn't believe that you wouldn't take the money.
Yeah, because first of all, he's supposed to be a friend. So I'm lying to him. And these people that are still in the wrestling bubble, like they can't believe that you wouldn't drop everything to work in the wrestling bit. They can't comprehend that.
But he brought up a good point, though, Vince. If you had a choice,
I had a chance to win $1 million. I thought there was some contest or something. You're stringing me along with this. I'm saying to myself, "There's no way Sports Kita's ponying up $1 million." Like, are you kidding me, bro? But go ahead, Mac. Go ahead.
All right, but Disco brought up a good point. He said that if you had a chance, they said, "Hey, we'll give you $1 million to come back to WWE and write for us and prove people wrong."
Right.
And you said, no, not interested.
Right.
You would not take $1 million?
1,000%, Mac. 1,000%.
I tell you, one of the things that one of my driving forces ever since I've been in the business, no matter what it is I'm doing, even including what we're doing right now, there are people who tell me, you can't do this. It can't be done, and you're not good enough, blah, 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 blah. My driving force for everything I do is this.
Yeah,
it's a middle finger to everybody who says it can't be done.
But Mac, you got to understand a couple of things. First of all, the system. Vince Russo would never ever fit in that system. The system when we were successful were two guys writing the television show, and we brought the television show to Vince McMahon. End of story. There was not a SmackDown team and a Raw team, and there's 20 people on this team and 20. I would never work in that system. So the way the system is set up right now, I would completely fail. I would not work in the system. That number two, I know the politics I'm getting into, Mac. I'm too old for that. I was fine with that when I was 30. I'm 64. And Mac, I think you can appreciate this. God, this is the God honest truth. Mac, I'm 64. I don't need $1 million. Like what? Like for me to be on the road every week, dealing with the politics, people stabbing me in the back. I know what it involves. My peace of mind at this point in my life, it's not about the money with me. It's about peace of mind and being happy. That's why I've always said, Mac, hey, you want me to consult? I'll sit right here. Yep. Hey, man, you should do this. You should do that. This is why this didn't work. I'll be more than happy to do that. But to get in that bubble at my age, no way.
Live and Uncut Music Media Group writes, are you two participating in the Royal Rumble tomorrow?
I think Mac may be kayfabing us. I've
been growing this beard out for a reason. So
I think Mac may be number 30.
You never know.
Right.
Don't put any money on it. You'll lose. All right, Vince, anything coming up for you want to talk about before we get out of here?
Yeah, guys, I just want to tell you real quick, because I put my money where my mouth is. If you've never been a Patreon member, guys, we give you a free week so you could try us for a week and see if you like us. Our Patreon, man, the tier start at 75 cents a week. $3 a month. All you got to do to get your free week is go to patreon.com/Russo TWC. Try it out for a week. No long-term obligation. Remember the old meatball? The guy, try it. You'll like it. Remember that with the old meatball?
I can't believe I ate the whole thing.
There you go, man. I can't believe I ate the whole thing. Oh, yeah. No. Hey, let me tell you something, Raymond. Hey, Mac, can we play some Mac footage on this show next week?
I don't know how to do that, but yeah, I'll send it to Sports Kid and let them throw it in there.
You can send it to Sports Kid, or you can send it to me. I could pull it up.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be happy to. I'll find some of the worst.
We've got to show Raymond Reigns Mac in his prime, man.
Man, I used to look really nice at one time when I was younger.
Oh, come on, man.
Although I still would love to work in the business. Live and Uncut Music Media Group. Thanks, Mac, for pulling me up there. Appreciate the two of you very much.
Thank you, man.
We appreciate everybody who joined us tonight. This has been a free episode on Wrestle Binge, but if you want to continue to see our shows each and every week, because there's 245 of you here right now, we would love for you to stop by, become a member on the main Sportskeeda Wrestling page, or at the Patreon, where you can go to Backstage Pass SK, and that's where you'll find BroDown and several other shows that take place exclusively on Patreon. Also, a reminder that this is Rumble weekend on Sportskeeda, so coming up, we will have the Royal Rumble post-match review, and that will be with, of course, our very own Vince Russo and Dr. Chris. And on Monday, it's a live Q&A with Bill Apter and Wrestle Votes, and that's for members only. So make sure you stop by and become a member at one of those areas. King of Hugo Mundo. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, young Reckless ponied up $4.99, so don't miss him.
Hey, man, thank you very much. Yes,
yeah.
Russo, only Gunther can redeem himself, is beating a Royal Rumble winner, Roman, at WrestleMania 41, because this loss to Sammy made him look terrible.
I agree, young Reckless. It needs to be something like that. It needs to be something like that. I agree with you.
All right. Is there any to say? We get one more here. Still can't believe Triple H paying big money contracts to Gargano, Candice, and Ciampa. I like Ciampa. I don't want, of all the people that are in that group of all these guys we were talking about earlier, the tag teams, Thomas Ciampa, I do like. I've liked him from the beginning. He has a very
unique.
He's unique. He's different. Very intense.
Absolutely. He's got a unique look. Not everybody looks like him, but you got to do something with him.
Yes, you do. You do. And he's got the attitude. I think you put him on a microphone and really let him burn up things. I really see that in him. All right, that's it. We're out of time. I'm Mac Davis. I've been your host. And of course, that is the star of the show, the one, the only, the most hated man in professional wrestling, Vince Russo. We'll see you again next week right here on